We're the Con Guys, and this is the Con Guy Show, coming to you straight from the nerdy heart of Hollywood, California.
And this is Jim with theconguy.com.
She's been here with theconguy.com.
Katie here, aka the Con Girl.
Zordon did not want 5 teenagers with attitude.
My name is Derek Sam.
I'm Danae Sams, and that's my brother.
We are your home for news, opinions, and interviews from the world of Comic-Cons and fandoms. Your ultimate insiders for all things con. I absolutely love that beginning.
It is so good.
Welcome, everybody.
Derek walking down the stairs in that cosplay, making that video is probably my favorite part.
Well, welcome everybody back to the Con Guy Show. This is our Con Guy Happy Hour Live. This week, in addition to myself and Cheese on the couch, she'll be here in just a moment. We have the awesome Con Girls. Woohoo! And we have Jake Jerley with us. Everybody, let's introduce ourselves. Katie, how you been doing?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to be back. I know I took last week off, but happy to be back with my fellow con girl right below me, Danae. But yeah, happy to be here. I've been trying to just get all this convention news sorted out, so I will be talking about that shortly.
Fantastic. Half of the Samblings. We'll say the better half, but don't tell your brother that.
It's okay. He probably won't listen to this. Hey, I'm Danae Sams. I'm half of the Samblings and half of the Con Girls. And
Con Girls.
Con Girls.
Yeah.
We've been trying to run the Instagram. It's been fun. I've been trying to get on every Friday to watch the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yes.
And just post on because I'm a big reactor to things. My brother Derek and his wife had a lot of fun watching Sixth Sense with me recently. Even though I knew it was
it?
No, I had seen it. I knew the twist. I knew everything, but it was still, we were watching it with a friend though who hadn't seen it, and that was especially fun. But anyways, I like reacting to stuff and putting in all the fun gifs. So yeah, if you want to watch Winter Soldier with me on a Friday, that would be awesome.
That is awesome. And special guest with us who's becoming kind of a regular special guest, Jake.
I'll just move in. It's okay.
We're fine.
Hey, it's Jake. Doing? Good, man. How you doing? Jake from the Jacobus System. Thanks again for having me on. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys and talk about our fun, geeky stuff. I'm excited about a few things coming up. One, Godzilla versus Kong, which is going to be really cool. Cannot wait for that. And also just enjoying all the great TV we have right now. So
that's right.
Looking forward to discussing this stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of which. Oh, wait.
What's up?
Hey.
Perfect timing.
All right. Jeez. You're muted.
You're muted. We can't hear you.
Look, you're muted. There you go.
Muted now.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, it's Cheeseman here, not Cheeseman on the couch anymore, at least at the moment. There's no couch here. So Cheeseman here with theconguy.com. Here, media director, and wearing my Cobra Kai shirt today.
Nice.
We'll be talking Mighty Ducks, and I'll be kind of making some Cobra Kai references.
Yes. Good, and they're really good observations, too. Speaking of which, let's talk about the show tonight. Well, they did it. The organizers of San Diego Comic-Con have announced an actual in-person event for the San Diego Convention Center for Thanksgiving weekend of this year, which is, we're going to talk about it. It's called it's Comic-Con Special Edition.
Special Edition, yeah.
Special Edition. It's not the actual one, but we're going to spend the last half of the show talking about that. We break down what that means, who's likely to go, who's likely not to go, and all the really quick controversy that exploded around this. You know, I'm kind of resistant to say the controversy online, because that's all that's online. That's the only type of people these days online is angry people who like to yell about stuff.
I mean, it was like that before COVID, but it's become worse because no one can actually vent their thoughts in person.
I know.
Our emotions are turned up to 11.
We're going to be talking about it, but first we're going to dive into Falcon, Winter Soldier, Episode 2. We're going to talk a little bit about the Mighty Ducks, the return, and this visceral new animated superhero show called Invincible on Amazon, which, guys, if you haven't seen, we'll talk about that in a second. My eyes are still bleeding from that show. Yeah. And of course, Katie is going to bring us some convention updates tonight. We have a packed night. I had a video I was going to try to show to you, but I didn't upload it yet. If I can upload it before the end of the show, I want to show it to you because it's so cool. It's so cool. But first, I want to know what you guys think. We got a little bit of news that we're going to go through, and I think this is really cool. First bit of news, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the new Disney Plus special event series starring Ewan McGregor as the iconic Jedi Master, will begin shooting in April. It starts this week. They're going to start production. I'm so excited. The story begins 10 years after the dramatic events of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, where Kenobi faced his greatest defeat, the downfall and corruption of his best friend and Jedi apprentice, Anakin Skywalker, who turned into the evil Sith Lord Darth Vader. The series also marks the return of Hayden Christensen in the role of Darth Vader. And also today they announced that Joel Edgerton is going to be back, which means what?
Yeah.
What
That's Uncle.
did he play?
Is that Uncle Owen?
Owen,
That's
yeah.
Owen, yeah. Are you guys
So does that
excited?
mean? Yeah, does that mean we're gonna see 10-year-old Luke? Luke Skywalker?
Probably.
That's a
Good, thanks. Yeah.
I mean, who knows with Disney
wanna
Plus
see
right now? Because
Spies.
Disney Plus is like, you think you know,
yeah.
but you don't.
This is gonna
Mark
be-
Hamill will be playing the young version of himself. They'll probably CGI. He'll do
They'll
like a little kid
de-age
voice.
him.
I
yeah.
mean, he already did
Yeah.
it for
Mhm.
something else.
He'll
So.
stand on his
I know,
knees. It'll be
Takes
great.
60 down to 10, but that will be
I
fantastic.
gotta say though, even without all the announcements they made about this today, as soon as they announced Ewan McGregor coming back, I was on board. That's all I needed. Like, let's be real, that's all I needed. And then when they announced Hayden Christensen, I'm like, all right, I'm good. So without everything else, I'm just like, I'm hyped because
Yeah.
Obi-Wan is my favorite. So
I
Well,
feel like
we
I
knew
feel like,
Ewan McGregor for a while, right?
yeah. But I'm saying as soon as they announced that he was getting his own show and that he would be returning as Obi-Wan, I was like, I'm on board. Okay,
I
sounds
feel
good.
I feel like that's something everyone can agree on is how awesome he is in that role. Even if you're not a big prequel fan, like he was always really good. You know.
I just
So-
hope there's the theater kid in me, and I'm sure Danae will agree with me on this. There's just a slight bit of me that hopes at one point we get to hear him sing. I don't know how it fits in Star Wars, but I just want to hear him sing at least once in the show. I know it probably won't happen, but man, I can dream. So
That would be amazing.
Wait, say what? Say what?
sing,
Sing.
Oh, sing!
because he has a very amazing singing voice.
Oh, he sounds so good. Haven't you seen Moulin Rouge?
I saw Moulin Rouge, yeah, but I don't know if Obi-Wan's a silly man.
I get that. I understand that the
He's
likeliness.
not
Have
really
to be a silly
silly.
man to sing.
I know the likeliness of him singing is slim to none. I'm just saying the musical person in me, theater nerd in me, is like, oh, please find a way.
That would be great.
Don't force it. Don't force it. We
Mhm.
don't need any Riverdale freaking awkward forcing music stuff. But you know.
Maybe he could like sing 10-year-old to Luke to sleep one night. Or something.
All right.
That would work.
Another piece of news, which is kind of cool. Deadpool Day is April 1st. That's Thursday of this week. It's wall-to-wall Wade Wilson. Deadpool Day is a day-long sideshow collectibles event centered around the beloved Marvel character. On April 1st, Sideshow is bringing him the nice confetti-filled bash he deserves.
On April Fool's Day.
Yeah, that's why they're
Perfect.
doing it. They're going to have giveaways, game shows, sideshow rewards, and all kinds of stuff. Just go to the Sideshow Collectibles website for more information. There couldn't be a better day to have a Deadpool Day. And this is his 30th anniversary year as well. So it's perfect.
Yeah. In lieu of that, can I show you guys the pop I got this week?
Yeah.
Okay, since it's his 30th birthday, Funko released they have a new nerdy 30 line of Deadpool Funko Pops. This one was an exclusive to Funko Shop, and it's a nerdy. Look at it's nerdy. Okay, so this is hit. He's got his little T-shirt, and it says "I love math" on it, and he's got his like broken glasses. But then when you turn and his stance is like that. But the best part is look at the
It's like
back
Urkel.
of this. He holds a backpack. He has a wedgie. You can see his wedgie. He has a backpack that has all his weapons, and the katanas are sticking out the bottom of the backpack because they don't fit. And then the book says weapons on it, and he has a calculator in his pocket.
That's
So,
awesome.
I got that in lieu of his 30th birthday. I also got a LARPing one.
Yeah.
That is artwork right there.
He has a cardboard sword that's colored. So I got both of those because
That's
they were
awesome.
hysterical. So in lieu of Deadpool Day, I got some Deadpool pops.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. One more piece of advice. Piece of news before we jump into Kiki's convention update. This weekend's international rollout this past weekend of Warner Brothers' Godzilla vs. Kong set a new pandemic record. Pandemic record. That's kind of a weird two words put together. A pandemic record for a Hollywood film. The film, which opens in North America theaters this week on HBO Max on Wednesday and in theaters where available, it debuted in 38 overseas markets to an impressive $121.8 million. That's $70 million from China alone. That's huge.
Wait, it opened to $70 million in China?
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa.
And
Our movie-
121 million worldwide so far.
Domestically, okay, we all know that in the States, movie theaters are just starting to open up, but mostly in California, but in other states they're open.
Mm-hmm.
So are they fully open? Movie
Mhm.
theaters fully open to full capacity overseas?
I'm not completely sure. I know China's been kind of touch and go. They open,
Yeah.
they open, they close. But I know that they had the Chinese New Year recently.
Yeah.
It was a really big deal to have the theaters open. So they had a
Chinese
big,
New Year, Lunar New Year in general is one of the highest grossing times of year for Asian families. So
yeah. So
No.
that opens this week. And I just want to ask the collective group here. I mean, I know some of us have HBO Max. I got it just to watch Justice League, but is there anyone here that's going to the movie theaters to see this?
yeah,
Yep.
I am.
I'm hoping to go to an IMAX, but I don't know if IMAX is open.
Katie, we'll talk. I want to go see it this week.
Yeah,
I would love to
I'm
go
going.
see it with you guys if you find a day. Please let me know because that would be the best way to con Guy in person again, I think.
yeah.
That would be fantastic. And
I'm
I know
going
that
to see it.
you're going to see it.
I'm going to see it on Friday, but it comes out on HBO Max on Wednesday. So I don't know if I can wait until Friday. So I might
So
have
you
to
might
watch
see it
it.
again.
I might watch it at home and then watch it in the big screen, but we'll see.
Now you got to have the first experience on the big screen.
Yeah.
I know.
Because
I
of
don't know.
Godzilla.
I'm gonna see that on the screen, and the play button's just gonna be like staring at me, like.
You're just gonna have to stay away from HBO Max that day.
He's gonna
I'm
be laying
also-
in bed one night and he's gonna be like, shit,
Yeah.
and then just like
But like,
get up and do it.
as soon as I found out movie theaters open, I'm like, well, that's perfect timing because if there's ever a movie you have to see in theaters, specifically IMAX, it's Godzilla.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't watch Godzilla on a small screen. It just doesn't.
And
No.
Jake, let's not give away spoilers, but you're the one who found a specific toy that arrived in toy stores this week that gives away a giant spoiler for the movie.
They do that.
Brad,
The toys do that.
Brad sent that picture of like a big end cap at Walmart, and you couldn't really see the full thing, but you saw like.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Well, you saw an arm, and I was like zooming in, like, wait a minute, what is this?
I know.
Yeah.
Speaking of Brad, we have some good news for the Con Girls. It's
I
the
saw that.
20th
I didn't know it was the
anniversary of
20th
Moulin
anniversary.
Rouge, First.
That
Wow.
makes me feel very
How
old.
much do you bet they do something special this year? And then Brad wants that Cobra Kai shirt. And then, so it's Luke, since Ben's not here this week to welcome Luke.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Oh, I can do it. You gotta be looking at the screen for this one.
Yeah,
Luke,
yeah, I'm listening. Oh, the blood good.
get blood good. What's up,
Pay
everyone?
attention.
Good to see you, Kat. All right. So let's go ahead and switch over. Katie, if you could catch us up on some convention news, we would be much obliged.
Absolutely. So there.
Whoa.
Wrong.
It's okay. It's
There you
okay. All right, everybody. So I'm going to end with the Comic-Con special edition stuff because it's a little bit hardy because they actually had another statement on their website after some of the controversy that's been going on. But first, we're going to talk about something that is upcoming, which you might have heard us mention a couple times so far in the last few weeks. That is LA Comic-Con's MicroCon. It's going to be an online virtual event. I think it's 4 hours, right, Jim?
Yes.
4-hour event on April 17th. It is presented by Sideshow Collectibles. So Sideshow has some big stuff coming up, I would say.
Yeah.
Tickets are now on sale if you would like to purchase them. General admission is $15. It's weird saying general admission because it's a general admission to your computer screen, but anyway, general admission is $15. VIP is $35. There's other VIP ones that you get special exclusive looks into certain panels. I guess you can only get through certain tickets. And then there is an all access pass for $99. There's also virtual meet and greets available. What up, Alex? Thank you. All right. So virtual meet and greets is a weird thing. They're like $50 to $100 for a virtual meet and greet. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I would want to spend $100 to virtually meet someone. It doesn't really seem like a meet and greet that way.
Nope.
But could be wrong. Maybe it's your thing. If it is, check them out on their website. And then they also have Midsummer Scream is something that the Scare Guy, our little neighbor podcast, the Scare Guy reports on. Midsummer Scream has not yet been canceled, according to their website. It's still supposed to be July 9th through 11th at the Long Beach Convention Center. We'll see if that continues. Something tells me it might get pushed back, but with the vaccinations being widely available in 2 weeks, maybe it will change. We'll see. Next up on the agenda is LA Comic-Con. It is still slated to happen in December. I forgot the dates. It's December. They moved it to December, and they do have special guests announced, such as Frank Miller, Tom Welling, Zachary Levi, and the My Hero Academia cast. Those are the announced guests so far. They were the guests announced for LA Comic-Con before it got moved, and they are still going to be going on with those same people. Keep your eyes out for it, because information is constantly changing with these conventions and with the world in general. So obviously it can change literally as soon as this podcast ends, which it did, because Anime Expo literally got canceled right after I did my update last time. So then, last but not least, WonderCon just wrapped up as well. And as soon as WonderCon wrapped up, Comic-Con does what it always does and releases information about San Diego Comic-Con. It's like, hey, you just took a lot of your money. Here's how we can take more of it. So Comic-Con Special Edition is the event that they scheduled for November. Before they announced it, they just said there will be an in-person event in November, but we don't have any details about it yet. Well, they announced it will be Thanksgiving weekend, November 26th through 28th.
Yep.
So that is when the in-person event happened. That's about all they told us, because there's no other information yet, nowhere to buy tickets, no information about how it's going to be. But they did release a second thing on their website that I'm going to read. It's a little lengthy, but bear with me. It says, our decision to hold an in-person event in 2021 was driven by a number of factors. Our primary hope was to be able to gather in person as a community, something we have not been able to do since early last year. Another was to try to determine how best to effectively and safely produce events in light of our current health concerns with the least negative impact on attendees. As conventions and events have had to cancel their in-person shows or have converted to virtual formats during the pandemic, some have been postponed to later years, while others have been rescheduled to the later part of 2021, resulting in a very packed convention center calendar. When reviewing dates for an in-person event, it was clear that the available meeting and exhibit space would limit our options. Of the dates presented with the fewest restrictions, Friday through Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend seemed to be the best balance of space and our envisioned event. As longtime fans ourselves, we have attended many conventions over the holiday weekend, opting to spend Thanksgiving Day with family and the rest of the weekend with friends and our families of choice. While this in the convention trade, we understand the choice is not optimal for everyone. Comic-Con Special Edition was never intended to be a large gathering reflective of the summer event. As a shorter event, it is our attempt to start slowly and cautiously, while at the same time addressing the desire for fans to have an in-person show. There are many factors that are unknown to us at this time, including space, accommodations, travel restrictions, capacity restrictions, and required safety protocols. While open to all, and the hope that we will be able to accommodate fans from all over, we understand that due to the potential travel-based restrictions and challenges, Comic-Con Special Edition may be an event attended mostly by fans more easily able to travel to San Diego. Currently, we do not know whether having this event in November is even feasible, as we are still in the midst of the pandemic. And while we are optimistic about Q4, we have not been privy to any special information on large gatherings. However, it was our desire to have something in place for our fans who have longed for an in-person event. We truly hope that you will join us for this entry back into the world of in-person celebrations of the community we so love. So that was another statement that they made, because obviously a lot of people were like, why Thanksgiving? That's a terrible time. We want to spend time with family. It's the very first time we've ever been able to meet with family potentially in a year. So that's kind of a release that they basically said, we acknowledge that, this is why. And so I did appreciate the transparency of that. So we'll see. But it also doesn't help that it is Thanksgiving weekend. So if you guys were like us, you kind of looked at hotels to see what they would look like. But the way that it works is when they know there's an event with Comic-Con, they usually block out those days. So the prices skyrocket because they want you to use their system to book them, which I'm assuming is what's going to happen here. But the other thing is it's a holiday weekend. People who are traveling to San Diego to see family have to stay somewhere, so that peaks the prices as well. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's it for now. Thanks for bearing with me for that lengthy statement by Comic-Con.
Katie, thank you. And since we are talking about Comic-Con, let's go ahead. This is the big chunk. This is the major portion of the show. Let's go ahead and talk about this a little bit. There was, and Katie, you kind of mentioned this, there was a lot of blowback pretty quick once the announcement, I think, dropped Friday.
Yeah.
Friday during the day. I was at an event, and a friend of ours said, hey, did you see this? And I was like, oh, wow. And then what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the Thanksgiving Day weekend? Or the Thanksgiving weekend? It's not Thanksgiving Day.
I don't like it.
Okay.
For the main reason, what I saw online is I love conventions. I want to get back to them. And San Diego Comic-Con has always been a great thing for me. It's my escape for the year. It's my vacation. I see all you guys. We have fun. We go to parties. But given this fact that most of us have not been able to see our families in the major holidays like last Christmas, last New Year's, etc., it is kind of the first time people are going to be able to do that. So, but at the same time, I get it, because if it's going to be a smaller event, they're kind of banking on that, like, hey, if it really matters to you. Now, it all depends too. I mean, I don't always get home for Thanksgiving, but I also would feel a little bit guilty going to a convention and not going home to my family.
Right.
So, like, hey, I can't come to Thanksgiving. Why? Because I'm going to Comic-Con.
Well, the thing that's kind of interesting is that they're recognizing the fact that, and I was talking with our friend Brad, who I think, Brad's on tonight. The fact that they're having it over a holiday weekend does kind of perhaps limit the attendance, especially the busiest traveled weekend of the year here in the States.
Yeah.
So it's super expensive, and it kind of might reduce it down to more of a locals event. So Jake,
Jake, would you leave your family to come to Comic-Con with us?
Sure. Come on. Let's go. No, it's a weird thing. I feel, it's nice that they're attempting to do something, to at least try to get people back there. But it's just a weird time. You didn't expect to go during the holidays. Some things are meant for certain times. It was funny because when Katie was talking about this, it kind of reminded me of the original Star Wars movies, because Star Wars was always a summer thing. It was always a summer event. And then after Disney bought it, they became like Christmas movies in a weird way, where it's like you go, it's like, it's weird, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see me traveling to that, as opposed to like a normal Comic-Con. So, but then again, like
Black Friday, like interesting day.
It's just it just feels weird, Even thinking about it's like, oh, it's weird.
Yeah. Maybe the first time in a while we actually see lines on Black Friday.
What about you, Danae? Because you're kind of local, but you are local now, but a lot of your family lives on the East Coast. So is this something that you'd consider?
I mean, as soon as I heard it was Thanksgiving weekend, I was like, I'm not going to be able to make that because, we've been pretty transparent about how much we love Comic-Con. It's where I met all of you guys. I wouldn't say it's why. Derek is why. But I will, not to sound like a holiday Hallmark movie here, but Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. And as much as I love just San Diego Comic-Con and the nerdiness of it, I will choose to be with my family for that weekend because I know like my mom especially has really been wanting to get together. We were all talking about taking a special like trip specifically for Thanksgiving and having like some extended family be there because we should all be vaccinated and safe by then. And I was like, you know, as much as I love Comic-Con, as much as I miss it because I haven't been since 2016, I would rather be with my family on Thanksgiving. Like I want to watch the Thanksgiving Day Parade and I want to eat ham, not turkey. But yeah, as much as I love Comic-Con, I would rather be with my family on a holiday.
You did say something there. Oh, it caught my attention, and then I know what it is. Luke, did you have thoughts before we jumped into a little bit more deeper discussion of this?
Yeah, I think it's kind of similar to the WonderCon Easter thing. It's not very sensitive to people's schedule and just, you know, like having to choose your family over this and it's just really killing the business. I mean, they're not going to get as many people going. And especially if, you know, they're looking to get big guests there, you know, those people aren't going to choose, you know, these things unless they pay them up, you know, or whatever. But yeah, they need to be smarter about that. But me being someone that doesn't usually go home for Thanksgiving, I'll go because, you know, as long as I can have Thanksgiving with my friends and then kind of go down there, or even Thanksgiving at a restaurant down there.
I'll be honest with you. Yeah, like I've already booked my hotel. I'm in the Omni right there at the convention center. Let me tell you how much it costs. $200 a night. That hotel room is usually like $4 or something like that. But I think these are all valid concerns. And like what Luke was talking about was WonderCon used to always be on Easter weekend. And even the year, the last year, 2020, it was scheduled to be on Easter weekend before it got canceled. And that's a frustrating thing that a lot of people, we were even there at WonderCon before and hearing one of the big presenters, a big movie producer saying, you know, I couldn't come last year. It was on Easter and I got family stuff. I'm so glad you guys moved it off so I can show up. And Danae, I know your brother, the other half of the siblings. By the way, can we just say Danae is yawning for a very good reason? Tell us why you're yawning, Danae.
I had a busy day. I don't know.
Doing what?
Oh, I got my government microchip put in. And it's hitting me. Like I was telling Katie before we got started, I was like, I'm feeling it. It didn't hurt at all. Like I had a little bit of soreness post shot, but I'm just like, oh man, it's, you know, it's like it's 8:00 and it feels like it's midnight.
It's working. That's good.
You don't have the superpowers yet?
I can control animals as long as they want to be controlled.
That's hilarious.
And I can eat a lot of garlic bread.
Okay.
Oh, that's a
well. I guess I've always had superpower.
A whole loaf.
Hey, but what I was going to say was like Derek and Brooke's brother. That's a loud noise, whatever that is. He when we went to WonderCon a couple of times, and it was on Easter, and I remember he was in the hotel room with us, and Easter morning, and like we're kind of sleeping in and stuff, and he's getting up. He's gonna drive back to LA for church, and he like puts on this music like it's 7:00 in the morning to like, you could get out of bed and all this other stuff. I'm like, where in the world are you doing? But I remember
those Jesus rose from the dead, and you can't even get out of bed. And it was like Keith Green.
I was like, geez, make me feel so guilty. But moving it off of Easter weekend was a big deal for me. And I have to say something about Thanksgiving weekend. If I were traveling home, this would be a big bummer for me. But since I'm not traveling home and I will just drive to San Diego, for people like me who won't be traveling, I think it's like not such a terrible thing. So, and can we talk a little bit? I hear myself being echoed really bad right now.
Yeah.
Let me see who that might be. All right, it stopped. So the one thing that people were asking is, well, why would we have an event in November in the first place? Well, for one, if you check the schedule on the San Diego Convention Center, it was the only weekend that was available this year.
Yeah.
And one of the things that the organizers did say was that And let's be honest, they needed this for revenue purposes. They said we need revenue. That's kind of a scary thing to think, like, guys, we got to have an event because we just need to get some money in the bank. That leads us to believe that, wow, they've been having a rough time. I mean, 2 years without any revenue, that's going to be true.
I mean, there's millions, if not, I don't know how much they make, but millions and millions and millions of dollars that go into this event. So, like,
I agree. But also,
not just that, downtown San Diego. Like, I mean, the businesses, all those businesses that the small restaurants you go to, the bars, I mean, all of them get hit really hard by San Diego Comic-Con. Like, they might hate it because it's so busy, but at the same time, financially, they make a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and they put that in their release, their updated release, because they did get a lot of blowback. And they said, guys, look, this is for economic reasons, not just for the organization here, but for all of downtown San Diego, all the businesses that depend on this business. And let's be honest, we've been to a lot of conventions. I've never seen one that turns the entire city into its campus like San Diego Comic-Con does. So
the only thing remotely similar to that I've experienced was the CMA Music Festival in Nashville. When that goes on, all of downtown is the attendees for the music festival, because it's at the football stadium in Nashville. So that's where where the actual headliners are at night. And then throughout downtown, there are multiple stages set up for during the day music artists. So everything during that week is surrounded by this whole event. So that's the only other thing I've ever been to that has that much of a financial hit.
Katie, we're going to have to go to one of these country music concerts with you. You're talking about, because like me and Cheeseman, we've gone to a couple of Jimmy Buffett events this past couple of years, and those are big events. But I mean, nothing like what you're talking about. Nothing like a San Diego Comic-Con. Also, can we talk a little bit of one of the pushbacks they got was the fact that people are still afraid, and we don't know what it's going to be like. And they even mentioned there, they said they don't even know if it's feasible. However, this is a full 7 months past when we are being told the entire country will have access to the vaccine. It doesn't mean they're all going to take it, but 7 months. Renee, what does your mom say about this?
I don't know. We're mostly just making fun of my other brother, who was all about, like, I don't know, how can we trust it? And I'll admit I only heard about half of that question because, like I said, I got my vaccine already today, and I'm struggling to focus. It's working.
And you need to, like, head off to bed. We are fully understanding.
I got to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier, so let's just...
We're almost there. But no, what do you think about the efficacy of, I mean, is it going to be safe? 7 months past when apparently the entire country has access to the vaccine. 7 months. Is that a safe time for people to be returning to large scale events? And granted, you're not a doctor and you don't play one on TV.
No. I mean, I think it just boils down to just, wear your mask, wash your hands. I think a lot of the recommendations for COVID was just stuff that my mom, who was an infection preventist for over 25 years, always said about, being careful what you touch and don't talk too close to people. Well, so as long as the biggest issue, I think, with handling COVID was people weren't, staying home when they were sick, washing their hands, wearing your mask. I don't know. People are dumb. We'll see. I can't tell you, yes, it's going to be fine, but I'm just like, I got my vaccine. I'll keep wearing a mask. I'll go.
Yep.
I'll do stuff.
Another thing that some people have been saying is like, well,
I take a nap.
San Diego Comic-Con is a big industry convention. It's one of the conventions where the studios and the publishers show up to show off what's coming out, and people are like, well, what are they going to be showing in November? I've got a little bit of a taste of that. Just from the Disney side, Book of Boba Fett is supposed to premiere in December from Lucas and Disney on
already.
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett in December. West Side Story is not quite a Comic-Con thing. That's premiering. The Kingsman debuts in theaters December 22nd.
That got pushed back, right? That was supposed to already be out, right?
We were supposed to get that like last July.
Yeah. Right, but it's scheduled for this December, and so it's going to need a big media push. Death on the Nile from Ryan Johnson. That's supposed to come out in February. But also Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is supposed to come out in March. So this would be its convention. And then
I don't think it needs the hype, but
But and then Thor, Love and Thunder is supposed to be coming out in May. So those are some, and that doesn't include like the streaming series from Marvel and Lucasfilm. It doesn't even include Warner Brothers. There's a lot of stuff, and the publishing calendar. Like there's a lot of things that happen over the Christmas holidays. There is the thinking
Spider-Man.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is the thinking that Black Friday could not be a better day to launch the collectibles, which every one of these companies will be pushing for the Christmas season. So there is a little bit of that. So I don't know.
I think one other thing that is probably another concern by people, and I think Brad kind of mentioned it earlier, is that's a lot of money to spend right before Christmas.
Yep,
so if you buy your Christmas presents there or whatever, your holiday gifts there, that's one thing. But to be traveling so closely to Christmas and to be traveling and spending a big amount of money before Christmas is hard. With San Diego Comic-Con, it's halfway through the year. It still gives us 5 months, 6 months before we have to purchase stuff for the Christmas season. It's a lot easier to take a vacation during the summer in July than it is to take an extra vacation that isn't family oriented in November. So there's so many factors, and I mean, it also just makes me think, which I get it's the best source, but to bring in the argument that so many people bring is when they say don't go shopping on Thanksgiving, let them have their Thanksgiving. Okay, so is everybody who's going to be running this event even going to be able to celebrate Thanksgiving? Because they're going to be prepping for it. But I mean, they did choose. I'm sure they had those discussions and everything too. But but a lot of people go to theme parks on holidays. So in some ways, it's like, okay, maybe they will just, instead of going to Disney, maybe they'll go to a convention. But it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. And right now, without knowing how much tickets are going to be, without knowing how many people are going to be there, it's hard to commit until you know that information. San Diego Comic-Con, we have all the information because it's been going on for over 50 years. So we know the prices. We know kind of how many people are going to be there when it happens. But I mean, I can assume that in 2022, Comic-Con is not going to have 130,000 people. I mean, everything's been changed, so it's going to be interesting. But as far as the people who are afraid to go and think it's too soon, it is 7 months away. I'm with Jim on that, and Danae. We don't know what the next 7 months holds. Hopefully we have herd immunity by that point. But the other thing is for me, I try to be optimistic. I'm trying to be optimistic through this whole thing, because if you don't, it will literally drive you insane.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to stay optimistic, but I completely respect that other people are going to still be scared. And that's totally okay too.
You know what? And that is fine. And I was talking with somebody who's like, and let's not, I don't want to get political on it, but when it comes to opening up and things, people, they'll have their political opinions, but also people come from two different perspectives and all over the spectrum on when is it going to be safe and when is it not going to be safe. I have been a person, I guess, who I've been very safe and thoughtful, but I have gotten out in the world, I guess you should. And a lot of people think that perhaps I got out a little bit too much, although I always had my mask. I've traveled back east a couple of times, but I think it's very important to stay safe. And for me, 7 months from now on Thanksgiving weekend, I'm loving that idea. I absolutely love it. And I know I'm not maybe in the majority, but also we got to understand that San Diego Comic-Con, they are doing the best they can to find a date that is far enough away, but still this year. They need to generate some revenue, but they also, I think they really do want to give the fans something to talk about, something to experience. And so, and Brad did have a
we lost to Jake.
There you go.
Oh, there he is.
Actually logged out. Sorry.
And Brad made a couple comments that I'm almost resistant to put these up because it could be, spreading rumors. I don't know, but let's talk about it for a second, because Brad knows a lot of people down at Comic-Con, and he said a friend of his that works at San Diego Comic-Con is telling him that they are considering making the November event only for fully vaccinated attendees, which really that's not going to be hard considering that most everyone will have the vaccine this summer.
Yeah, I understand that, but they're going to have a lot of pushback too.
But then a San Diego Comic-Con vaccination passport pass is where I get really leery with stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it says you'll need to upload your proof of full vaccination to your profile on the Comic-Con website, and a special pass with your vaccination status will be included in the chip. There's that scary word, the chip info in your pass. By the way, guys, we're not saying this is true information. This is something that a contact of Brad's has told him. Katie, what were you going to say?
There'll definitely be more pushback if they do that.
Oh, yeah.
I understand it is their absolute right for a business to do what they feel best. They're allowed to do that. But when it comes to something like that, is the risk, is that worth the reward that they're going to get in return?
I agree.
I'm unsure if that might be true, because I'm wanting to say, and I'm not an expert here, but I feel like that violates the Medical Privacy Act.
It makes sense.
Of having to show proof of, like, unless you are, signing up for like a school or a government institution, like a college, then you do not have to show your medical history. Mm-hmm. That was something, because I have a friend with an autoimmune disease who has a lot of information that she doesn't want to share, and she was like, hey, I don't have to tell you everything that's happened to me. Mm-hmm. So I'm not totally sure. I don't hold me to that, but I will say really quick, as the history nerd of the con people, and I'm saying this as Janae, not as a member of the con guy, the worst epidemic that happened in the United States and arguably in the world was smallpox. And it has been eradicated from the United States and most of the world because people got their vaccines.
Yep. And let's take it to heart, guys. Let's take it to heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there are a number of people who have for whatever reason, they have concerns. And I read that a third of the population of this country do not plan to get the vaccine. And that's a scary thought for those of us who really, we're ready to open this world back up. And hopefully there's enough of us that will get the vaccine that we can actually create some of that immunity for everybody. Let's hope. But, because I don't believe in forcing people to take a vaccine. Let's just remember this. A lot of people have kept on saying, well, if we just shut the country down and done this and force people to do the vaccine. I'm like, guys, our problem is the biggest selling point of America is also perhaps our problem, but I live with this problem. We are free people, we have liberty, and people enjoy that liberty, and they exercise it sometimes in dangerous ways, but that's the price of freedom. I'm sorry, that's the way it goes. I hope everybody does get their vaccine that is able to, and that we can return. Real quick, I just got to say, hello, Andy. It's awesome to meet you, my friend.
Andy.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
With that said, should we move on to the next?
We're going to move on, but last thing, I have the hotels.com page open right now for the cost of hotels. Some downtown hotels are going for $180. Some for $184. Let me see. Some for $789.
Most of the ones near the convention center are going to run about $500 to $1,000 a night.
But they haven't jumped up. Ooh, they are jumping. They are jumping.
They are.
The Horton Grand right now is $260. So if you guys want to, San Diego. Oh, no, that's not right. Mission Bay is $261. Yeah, you're right. San Diego. Katie's right. The ones down by the convention center are probably starting to jump. Yeah, they're starting to jump already.
That's how much they are at Comic-Con. If you try to book it outside the system at Comic-Con, it's going to cost you about $1,000 a night for those hotels.
But amazingly, there are most hotels that are usually around $200, $300 a night are running around $150 right now. So there's some for $109. Last night I was talking with Ben and the gang, and I found Motel 6 in downtown San Diego for $88. There you go, guys.
And if you are vaccinated, take a look at Airbnb and support your small businesses. And outside of San Diego, take the train in. That's what Derek and I always did.
Train, a good idea. I do have this pushback on Airbnb in San Diego because they're trying to outlaw it there. Yeah, because they've had so many problems.
They've had a lot of problems with it.
Conventions where people will sell you the room, you show up, and they say, sorry, we sold it to the higher.
Someone else for more money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I was saying get it outside of San Diego and take the train in, because that would be cheaper than normal anyways.
Guys, this has been a great conversation, and we do have a couple things to talk about. And Danae, I'm going to bring this up. Wait. I got something for you.
Oh, I'm so excited. Is it a dog? A dog
No.
that I can control with my new mind powers?
So
Because I
Is it
got the
Sebastian
vaccine.
Stan?
Danae,
Is it her birthday again?
Danae, what's this week? Danae, can you see?
I can see
She's
it.
waiting for it to change.
This is the Weekly Wanda, which will now henceforth be called the Weekly Marvel.
Nice.
All right. I like it. I
Good,
like
you
it.
fixed it.
So it's time
Although you missed an opportunity to save like the Marvel minute, but we'll it's okay.
We always talk longer than a minute, though.
I know,
Yeah.
but
All right, first
When
of all,
we talk
wait,
45 minutes about Comic-Con, whether or not we want to go on Thanksgiving.
guys, wait, okay. I got to push back, though. We're the con guys. It's the biggest topic of the year we could possibly discuss.
Yeah.
Danae, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 2. Tell us what you think.
Okay, I think they did a great job casting for the new I'm so sleepy. Captain America, because I was like, they found a guy that was like just unhandsome enough. Like he's handsome enough to be on TV, but not like Chris Evans good looking. So that we're all just
No
like,
one's
"You're not
Chris
Captain
Evans.
Do you know
America."
who he is? Do you know who he is?
No, I don't watch TV unless it's not.
Kurt
That's Kurt Russell's son.
Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
Really?
Yeah, Goldie Hawn's son. He's
Yeah.
kind of a big deal, and his dad's part of the Marvel Universe. And then it was interesting because even his acting on this, because I've seen him in other stuff, like the way he'd talk or his mannerisms felt a lot like his dad, more like his dad, like in this role and stuff, like more like leading man, more kind of a lot more kind of charisma. Because he had kind of like in 22 Jump Street, he had more of that like bro mentality, which I loved his character in 22 Jump Street. But this one, he really, I think, kind of honed in, and especially with the intro of the show and kind of humanizing him a little bit. I'm like, I kind of like him, you know.
Hey, we all liked Ego at the beginning of Guardians 2, so
Yeah.
It's
Kill his mom. Oh!
now you're getting old when the sons and daughters of like big Hollywood people are old enough to like be adults actors, like because him and the guy who plays Huey in The Boys is the son of Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid. So it's like it's interesting. So
I
We're
stand
still
by
waiting
my
on you, Francis Bean
statement.
Cobain, to be the next Nirvana.
Go ahead,
all right,
Danae.
Danae.
Oh, I was
what
gonna
were
say
you
I stand by that. Like they got him, they picked the right one because he is like only, office office workspace handsome. He's not like movie star handsome. So I was like, yeah, backup Captain America. That's about where he should fall. I'm not as conceited as I'm sounding right now.
No,
but I was so. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Katie.
No, I agree with you. Literally, when I watched the second episode, I don't know if I texted you guys, but I texted my friend and I told my roommate, I was like, he looks like the Disneyland Parks meet and greet version of Captain America.
He did. He really did. Yeah. And it was, also just real quick, I was so excited to see Erin Kellyman because she was in Solo as part of this other Resistance. She was awesome in that. I think part of my favorite moment in this episode, though, was just like Bucky and Sam having therapy together.
Couples therapy, yeah.
Basically couples therapy. Yeah, because couples therapy does not have to be reserved for a married couple. Every relationship goes through its hard moments. And I really appreciate how much they are highlighting like PTSD and how important therapy is. And it's just, I'm just like, yeah, we all have our issues, no matter how big of a hero you are, and we have to go get the help that we need for it. And I especially love the stubbornness of like walking to an airport because they didn't want to be in the same car as new Captain America. I was like, I 100% relate here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part was the staring. Like, does he always stare like this?
It was such a Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie thing too. If you've ever seen like any sort of interview with them, like that's the kind of thing that they do. But
they are great together.
Yeah, I also kind of loved, I don't know if this was on purpose or not, but when they were fighting on the trucks, it felt really reminiscent of Captain America fighting on the trains. which I'm surprised the trucks were able to like stay the same speed and stay that close together for that
Good
long.
stunt
That
drivers.
doesn't
Good
happen
stunt
on roads. Yeah, that's not how those drivers operate. But yeah, I love just that like commonality, especially with, you know, new Captain America jumping down from a helicopter or whatever. And yeah, I loved like all of those little moments of hinting back to other things in the Marvel Marvel universe. And except I was like, okay, the trucks don't drive like that. Let's get real for a little bit.
Yeah.
I will excuse super soldiers, but I will not excuse trucks that drive abnormally.
You probably wouldn't like any of the Fast and the Furious movies then.
It was kind of cool how when he fell off, it kind of mirrored the scene from the first Avenger when he falls off the train.
Yep.
And he's hanging on the side. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
The best thing that happened on that scene, which was just a very subtle, quick thing, is when Bucky caught the shield, kind of like he did, you know, in, you know, the Winter Soldier and all that, and then just kind of subtly and then
Just toss it back.
Yeah.
This show is really making me want to go back and have like a Marvel rewatch party.
So
yeah, this show is they've upped the ante on screen action. I was like, holy crap! I mean, it's like watching one of the best movies they've made. But both episodes so far has
So yeah, I said that. I agree with that. Literally, the first episode, I was like, I liked that more than the entire series of WandaVision.
Exactly.
But I knew I would like it more than WandaVision. So here's my thoughts of episode 2. Episode 2, first of all, Emily would want me to tell you guys that she was very upset
You got
that
the Bucky
did not
crushes,
see,
though, so that's part of it.
yeah, that you didn't see Bucky and Sam in the episode together in the first episode. She hated that. Emily hated that. I understand that, but you did have to somewhat set up. What is interesting to me is in the critiques of the episode, a lot of people who absolutely loved WandaVision and did not think it was slow and did not think all these things thought the Winter Soldier is slow, which is so weird to me because I don't think Winter Soldier and the Falcon is like slow at all, right? But it's just very interesting to see people saying that about this but don't think that WandaVision was. And I'm like, they have very similar formats, but the biggest thing I had is I was like, they said shit on a Disney show.
Oh, yeah, they did.
And I was just like, now granted, we've seen them curse in the movies, but this is the first time in a Disney Plus show that we've seen them curse. So I was like, all right.
They're trying to go all Lethal Weapon on us.
I mean, I'm cool with it. Don't get me wrong, because it was very believable, something. But I had a few other emotions in the show, in this episode particularly, when it started off, and you know, I'm calling him this stupid Homelander dude because he gives me Homelander vibes from The Boys, and that's all I keep thinking. So I keep saying like, I literally was so angry for like the first 20 minutes when they were like, he's like, I did my time, and first I wanted to be like 12 years of it in Azkaban. But then also I was like, yeah, you know who else has done time? Bucky, who's been in this series for 10 years. Where do you come in and 20 minutes into the show think that you can hold that shield? And I was just yelling at the TV. I was so mad. And I'm like, it's just a show. It's just a show. Calm down, Katie. Calm down.
That's a good sign.
Then we get into it, and I love all the stuff that they're doing about PTSD and depression and all this different stuff. I think it's a very good commentary to do, especially after the year we have. Another reason I want to applaud Falcon and the Winter Soldier is because most Marvel films don't have a lot of political commentary in it, which I both love, but I also love when you can address political commentary in a way that fits and in a way that doesn't seem forced. And I like that they're taking the opportunity to take just the right amount of balance with political commentary and comedy and drama all at the same time. You know, it was nice to see that. It's nice to see Marvel being like, we have a voice and let's use it. And some people don't like the therapy stuff, but I absolutely love it. I think
it's fun. It gives it that Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of feel in some ways. And then when they did that too, like when they were together in the like couple therapy thing, that was very like 22 Jump Street kind of feeling. And I thought it was funny.
And then when the therapist, when Bucky is leaving and he goes, what's rule number 2? And she said not to hurt anybody. And he's just like, what did you just make me do? And you're just like, oh.
Yeah,
like,
they don't want to be friends after this now.
Yeah,
Boom.
He's like, you made me tell him how I feel, which hurt him, and that's me breaking the rule that you told me to live by. So,
I didn't get that.
Yeah. That's why he asked her, like in a kind of like passive aggressive way was like, what's rule number 2? Because he did not want to tell Sam that. So
what was it he told Sam?
When he said basically how maybe Steve was wrong in picking you. If you are going to give up the shield like that, then clearly you're not the person that he or I thought you were. And that means I didn't know Steve very well. So.
Right. No, and then he also, the sad part is he's like, maybe Steve was wrong about me too. Cause Steve did everything to kind of redeem him and kept him kind of alive and from being in prison and basically risked everything for him. And then he's like, maybe his judgment wasn't the best. And maybe I'm not worthy of this either.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad. But I think they set it up really well. And I would love to, I don't know if he's been involved in any of this, but I would love to see Shane Black come back and do some episodes of this because I think he'd be the perfect fit for, since he did Lethal Weapon, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and then he did Iron Man 3. He's so good at like this buddy charisma thing. I think Shane Black, if he came in as a guest director on some of these shows, I think he'd really blow it away.
Yeah. I agree.
Also, we saw War Machine, which I don't think any of us were expecting that.
Yeah. Episode 1.
Yeah. Hey, Jake, real quick, what was your take on it?
I loved it. I thought it was great. The action scenes were, way beyond what you, like I said last time, what you expect from a TV show. It's just, you feel like you're watching a movie, I will say the saddest thing, R.I.P. Red Wing. That was terrible.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, no one felt bad about that.
I can't believe there isn't a backup.
I was like, no.
Someone's going to get a hold of Tony.
Oh, wait, technology still exists somewhere, and we'll
Sam's going to be fixing them soon.
But
it's great.
Bucky was happy about it.
Bury him in a little hole on the side of the road.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you guys are all, but to go with what Katie was saying, how I loved WandaVision. I thought it was really good. It's a different type of show altogether. But to compare how you compare the first 2 episodes of WandaVision, where it's just like they're just doing the sitcom stuff, and you have no idea what's going on, and then you compare the first 2 episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier, it's night and day. It's like crazy the amount of action and how much fast pace and warrior involved because we knew the characters and we're invested in Marvel stuff. So we're like, okay, well, it's kind of weird. Let's just see how it plays out. And then eventually it was good. But for someone to say that they thought the Falcon and Winter Soldier was slow, I'm like, come on.
I've been hearing it.
Hopefully Loki holds up because Loki doesn't come off as like the big warrior. I know he does a little bit of battling, but this feels a little more action based than Loki may possibly be. But we'll see.
Loki's going to be more tricksters and things like tricky.
Lots of silliness. I am so excited to discuss that with you guys. Like I just get ready.
And just did you guys? We can't pass up Isaiah Bradley, the character, the super soldier that they went to visit. He's actually from the comics. He was one of the Captain Americas at one time in the comic books. He's one of the first African American superheroes and featured as Captain America. And it was they kind of like played that one kind of really intense, that scene with him, probably more intense than I was anticipating.
I'm hoping they will show more though, because it was obviously an actor that they aged up for this, which kind of to me looked like that they may either do some sort of separate series or character thing, or maybe within this series do some flashback episode or something back to when him and Bucky kind of faced off and all that. Because you'd cast somebody like older to do it if that was just all it was, but there's he's gonna be back, or there's something that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I can't imagine like a loaded character like that they would just show him for that moment and never bring him back.
I don't think they will.
Yeah.
Which character are you talking about? I'm sorry.
Isaiah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's going to be a big part of the series. I definitely think. All right, we're going to move on, but I just want to answer Andy, Jim, and Cheese. Will you go to Comic-Con on the weekend or not? Hey, Andy, if it looks like it's going to be safe, we will probably be there. And Andy also said Shane Black was a customer at his local comic book store back in the day, which is very cool.
Nice.
And Brad is asking, who do y'all think is going to be the Luke Skywalker, Evan Peters surprise cameo during this first season? Ooh.
I'm wondering if it's going to be like older Steve Rogers showing up.
I think they need to say where he is now and have that.
I thought he died.
Moment.
Didn't they say he died?
Like meet him at Denny's, have a nice breakfast, or like a 5 a.m. breakfast, and
I
talk
thought they said he
about
died.
things.
I think they say he dies, but you never
Gotcha.
never
Yeah, but they did
show-
mention
it's
him
like,
dying.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Did they? No, I
Yeah.
thought the
Might-
world more doesn't know where he's at, where he's just kind of disappeared.
They assume he's dead or something.
I
Yeah.
assumed he was dead. Yeah.
okay, cool.
I don't
All right.
know. I don't know.
I don't
Did
think
they
he is.
like Luke Skywalker him? He just kind of dissolved, kind of like at the end after he handed over the shield. He's looking at the sun, and
He's
We
hiding.
didn't- we did not see his death scene. I think that might have been too
Yeah.
much for audiences for honesty. Hey guys, that is Falcon and Winter Soldier for this week. But let's switch over to another superhero that a couple of us saw. I don't think everybody did. This is the Amazon original series called Invincible, and it's by the creator Robert Kirkman, who was the guy behind the
Walking Dead
series. So, last weekend, apparently, Ben told us that he and his lovely bride Bree were invited to the big. They had a big premiere of this at the Rose Bowl. They were not able to go, but apparently, this show is getting a lot of buzz. Cheeseman, what'd you think?
I wasn't really paying attention when I watched it the first time last night, but then when I rewatched it today, I was actually like, this is kind of a fun thing. There was definitely this like father and son vibe that's kind of cool. And like growing up in a family where your dad's a superhero, you don't quite have your power yet and all that. And like, I actually kind of really enjoyed it. But we'll talk about the ending. That kind of totally kind of shocked me a different direction. But, you know, like having a son, you're experiencing kind of that. Once his power started to come, his dad was kind of like mentoring him and all that, and kind of him talking to his mom, and kind of a very relational thing of like being the son of somebody that's like everything to the world, and dealing with that. It felt very like humanizing of a character, and they had a great cast and people kind of involved in this. So, and then Robert Kirkman being part of this with the Walking Dead series, I could see this thing continuing.
And I just wanted, and Katie, you're really going to like this. The representation on the series is pretty much off the chart. Like the main superhero, Steven Yeun from Glenn from The Walking Dead, his mother Sandra Oh, and she plays it well. But the dad, the superhero they're trying to live up to, is J.K. Simmons. But they also have Seth Rogen, Mark Hamill, Jillian Jacobs, Walton Goggins, and so many more people. This is a giant cast of people, and I have to admit, I was watching it last night and I was bored. I was bored for most of the episode, even though it's good. I didn't.
You don't like animated anime type stuff, right?
I like anime, but this one, it was just like, I'm going to school. My mom and dad are being hard on me. Oh, the girls. It was a little bit too much that for a while. And I'll have to rewatch it again. But Luke, tell him how the end. It was like 40 minutes.
No, you can't tell us the end, Jim. You can't freaking tell us the end when we haven't seen it and then be like, hey, go see this.
Okay, I won't tell you the end.
Luke was very careful about
pretty
not spoiling
shocking, and
It was a shocking.
cartoon, blood,
It was a
violence.
shocking.
That's all I'll say. I sent Jake a clip. Jake.
I saw the clip. I didn't
Yeah.
watch the episode, but I was just like, "Oh, okay."
Tell you what.
All I said
Yeah,
back was,
it was-
I just said Robert Kirkman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not giving it away to say there was an extreme level of gore that I've not seen in an animated series before. I mean, not just a little bit. It was like, holy crap! I was not expecting the level of gore that we saw.
No,
I
but
think
yeah,
it almost came as an
was
after
like-
credit type scene. Like I
It
think
kinda-
they kind of made it seem like the episode was over, and then they kind of went into that whole thing.
It kind of reminded me of the animated sequence in Kill Bill Volume 1.
I was gonna say like
Like-
certain movies like the 300 and stuff are animated and all that stuff. So
But no, the 300 was like a child's play compared to what I saw.
yeah, but I'm saying violence.
Yeah.
There is ones out there, especially in anime. It's just
Oh, I have seen some anime violence, which is beyond what I'm comfortable with.
This was just like
He's all shook up. He's shook.
No,
The show just completely shifted.
No, it was a decent episode, and it kind of lulled me into thinking, oh, it's a little bit edgy, and then also, and you're like, where the hell did that come from? And it wasn't a short scene either. It was a lengthy one. But anyways, so I encourage everybody, if you want some good, I was about to say old-fashioned, but there's nothing old-fashioned about this show.
Some good old fashioned.
Father knows best with a lot of blood and violence.
Yeah, check out Invincible on Amazon. And last but not least, as far as our TV shows are concerned, Disney's The Mighty Ducks Game Changers hit our screens this weekend as well.
On Disney Plus.
Yes.
I watched it.
Katie, what did you think?
Okay, well, obviously, you guys all know this. I am a massive Ducks fan. I have the actual hockey team, and I loved the movies when I was a kid. I loved the movies so much that I wanted to play hockey, but did not have the means to do it when I was young. I played broom hockey, but that was about it. But obviously, it's not necessarily geared for someone in their 30s. I can admit that. But there is the nostalgia factor because, we did get to see Coach Bombay again, and he's playing a very, bitter, person who just no longer wants anything to do with what his former life. And I thought, okay, that seems right. Based off of my age, based off what time has done to me, I can understand that. And we're going through all this stuff with everything that happened this year. You can kind of understand it. At first, I didn't like that he was totally different and was away from that. But then it clicked in. I'm like, that is kind of a realistic approach. It happens a lot. So I like that. As for the show itself, with all the newcomers in the show, it gave me the first Mighty Ducks movie meets Little Giants.
That's what Luke was saying.
Have you guys seen Little Giants?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it gave me those vibes of the beginning movie of Mighty Ducks forming this team and the Little Giants with all the kids who weren't good enough for their Pee-wee football team. Because they are young kids. They're, I think, 12 to 14 years old. So it very much gave me that feeling. And the biggest thing that's great about, Little Giants is the word heart. And the show had heart. And I think it was nice in a year of pretty depressing stuff and heavy stuff going on. It was nice to have a show that just has heart. And I enjoyed it. I'll keep watching it. Obviously, I know it's probably not geared for people that are my age, but at the same time, the movies came out when I was younger. So obviously, people my age are going to watch the Mighty Ducks show just because of the nostalgia factor. But it was cute. It was cute. I had no problems with it.
Cheeseman, you had some thoughts, and Danae, did you?
Yeah, I got an opinion.
I caught the beginning of it. I remember Mighty Ducks from back in the day because my brothers were into it, but it was one that I never got into. I would like to sit down and watch it. I just didn't have the chance to really watch the episode yet.
Yeah, and the thing, and Katie, you did make a good point. You said maybe it isn't for people your age. I would say that the original movie was for people our age. Mm-hmm. And because we went back and we were rewatching that, it's a lot edgier than what this series feels more like a Disney Channel movie.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
That's what the big difference was, and there is a little nostalgia factor. What's cool is there is an episode, I have the picture right here, where some of the Mighty Ducks come back to Disney.
Nice.
And look how big all of them are. This is crazy.
They're all grown up.
Some of them are in prison, so they can't,
Hey, no, he's doing really well now. Sean, who played Goldberg, he's doing a convention coming up that was just announced. Yep, he's really doing well and it's kind of turned things around. So
Luke's
happy to know Sean's doing better.
Luke's actually been in contact with them and Aaron and getting updates, and he's doing really well. And they're like you said, Aaron and Sean have a convention coming up in May that we're going to be helping them promote.
Nice.
So, but for the rest of you, and I know Luke, you had some. What are your opinions? I want to know what you thought.
Yeah, I got opinion. Jake, did you see it before I share?
No, I need to watch it. I haven't seen it yet. I did watch all the original trilogy back in December because they were all on Disney Plus. And
not anymore. But yeah.
Oh, they're not. They took them off.
The first one got moved already.
Oh, really? Oh no. Well, I watched them all, and even watched the third one, which I never saw.
The first was on there this weekend.
Then it's on Hulu also because it got moved to Hulu or Amazon. Yeah. I don't remember which one.
Okay.
Right. No, it's on Hulu and it is on Disney Plus right now.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, right. I even watched the third one, which I never saw. I remember seeing the trailer for it all the time and stuff, and that was kind of
I love that one. It's bad, but I love it.
The other coach that but then I watched that. But does anyone else remember the Mighty Ducks animated series from the 90s? Did anyone watch that?
I didn't watch it. My roommate wants me to.
Like actual ducks,
they were anthropomorphic ducks who became like superheroes and stuff like that. So that's the original Mighty Ducks series. Of course, I need to check it out. I want to watch it. I just haven't had time to watch it yet.
Luke, let's hear your thoughts on this.
All right, my opinions. I'm glad it exists. I'm glad it's there. They're bringing people back. And why I wear Cobra Kai tonight is because if they Cobra Kai'd this show, like, it'd be one of the best shows out there and stuff. They went way too just like trying to do like a new thing with it. It kind of like and I really did like, they had a mom character really looking out for the kids, but it felt almost like the mom wrote the show to make her the hero and stuff, and went a little too over the top on it, in my opinion, and stuff. Like, spoiler alert, like at the end, like it just ended so awkwardly with her like skating, and I'm like, wait, that's the end? Because like Cobra Kai would have been like, oh, here's this like skater guy that's like the Mighty Ducks, I want to take them down. Like they'd add something kind of like cheesy, menacing, but kind of fun and nostalgic. And whenever he'd watch Cobra Kai with Brad, like he'd always do these moments that really kind of threw back to the old original stuff. And I really didn't feel like they did those moments or took advantage of those things where they could really kind of draw back to get the old fans like, oh yeah, they did this kind of the first one, or they kind of brought this back. And one of the biggest things, it's like, they freaking Last Jedi'd Gordon Bombay, and it made no sense at all. It's like, I hate kids, I hate hockey. No explanation for it. They turn him into this grumpy old man that just.
Wait, I gotta jump in because Katie had a different take on that. And
so here's the thing is I get that. It was, like I said, at first I did feel that way, Luke. I did. But there was one line where and this isn't meant to spoil it, but basically he's talking to the mom. I forget her name right now. The actress, I forget her name right now, from
Gilmore
Girls. Her name's Lauren Graham.
Yep.
Thank you, Lauren. That's what I thought. All right. So I get her confused with the Lauren from Walking Dead, their names. But
that's Lauren Cohan.
He says, these parents of young kids who are playing hockey, they're terrible. They're pushing these kids and the kids aren't having fun. And so you kind of see why Bombay is the way he is. He doesn't like what has become of the sport that he once did love.
Well, the Mighty Ducks in general, he did comment on he didn't like what the team, but still that doesn't make sense of why he hates hockey and sports. I understand he'd hate the Ducks and what they became.
Yeah.
And all that.
Don't worry. Don't worry. He'll force project himself into the last game and then
I'm sure we'll get more about
and
it.
die randomly. But
when I was watching
because I went back because I was so disturbed by things that I went back and I'm, how did the old movie feel? And I kind of had been a long time, like I was a kid since like the last time I'd seen some of this stuff. And I'm like, oh, he's this hotshot lawyer that only wanted to win, that just basically walked over people, got a DUI, and then couldn't do that and had to do community service and that became the Mighty Ducks or whatever. But I'm like, why not return him back to his lawyer roots of like, he's not winning cases because he's looking out too much for the underdog or something like that. But then kind of bridge his lawyer life back into that. And then he ends up kind of coaching again or giving him kind of that passion and all that. And then even the kids, like the kids in the first one, they're like these misfit, but they're fun. They're kind of rebellious. They're kind of getting into rambunctious. They're like impractical jokers as little kids. And then these kids are just kind of like boring and not as like prankster kind of stuff. Cause like me growing up, like me and Jake, like we grew up together, but we were kind of the kids. Like we weren't like, the most popular kids that like were the best at the sports. I did play football, but like basketball was a cool thing at our school, but we were kind of like a little bit of the misfit people that just sat back and joked and were more like the jackass kind of mentality type thing in our lives.
The jackasses.
And I kind of wanted to see more of that from these kids. Like even in like Cobra Kai, like dumping stuff on people or doing things that are a little offline where they need a little discipline. They need a little parental stuff in their life because they're little troublesters, but they're not just like loser kids because they can't make a hockey team or whatever. I just feel like if they're gonna tie back and pay homage to different stuff with the Mighty Ducks, I feel like it could have just been written and developed better. And I'm not saying it won't develop more as it goes. I think it'll get better. And then if more people get involved or they bring back original cast, and we're friends with Aaron Schwartz, who lost a bunch of weight. Can I bring this up?
Yes, Brad's talking about this as well. Until they put a certain Ducks film cast member who is our friend, who will remain nameless, Aaron Schwartz, on the new series, I have no interest.
Yeah, no. I mean, I get what you're saying, Luke. From the standpoint of the films, I didn't really feel like it registered a lot nostalgically. I felt like it was a completely new TV show to a new audience. That's why I don't think the show is geared for people that are my age. And I really did not. I'm so over this thing, and I'm sorry if I offend anyone with this comment, but I am over seeing kids be bullies on screen. I am so over that plot point. We need less bullies in this world, and I hate that film continues to show kids being bullies, because show kids being just their own person, show kids having friends, that's fine, but this whole like, oh, we're the cool table, you can't sit with us, like, it's just so dated, like, it's so 80s, and I hate to say it's so 80s, but that was a thing that was in the 80s, and it just hasn't evolved since then, and I just hate it. I don't like, let's not give other kids a reason to see something on TV and go, oh, is that how I'm supposed to like treat people? If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So,
but back to what I was saying with the Aaron thing, like they should have cast an original Mighty Duck player to be the coach of the Mighty Ducks, and Aaron would have been the perfect character because he wasn't in part 2 and 3 where he lost all this weight, got super shape, and he like maybe has this cutthroat mentality of like, no, we're taking it to the next level. They needed like that kind of character because he had no tie to the original Mighty Ducks. This guy coaching, where Aaron could have like perfectly played like the douchebag kind of guy that like lost his way. He's leading the Ducks. We're going to be the best team out there. And I don't know why they just passed some random dude.
Is there any original cast member besides Emilio?
Right now, just Emilio.
Yeah, we showed you the picture. They're having a reunion, but a 1 episode reunion. The same guy, Stephen Brill, who wrote and directed the first movie, is the guy. This is his series. And Brad does say this. He says Emilio did an interview saying he signed on to the series because he wanted his character to take that direction where hockey had not been good to him over the years since the film.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I do it. As a filmmaker, as a writer, and as a fan, I just have to jump in a little bit and say, I get they wanted that to be the character arc of this character. That makes sense. I don't think that they wrote that on the scene. I didn't see why he was so bitter, but I do think that that does take him. They needed him to be back for Emilio to be in this. They couldn't have his character be a high flying lawyer. They couldn't do that because it just doesn't work. I guess he had to be a guy who had left all this behind, and he comes. But you know what? I don't know. I'm thinking both sides. Why does he own down on the lug ice skating rink?
Yeah, if you want nothing to do with it, why do you want an ice?
Yeah, if he hates
because even though he hates hockey, there's a part of him that probably is still holding on to the hope that maybe someday it'll be good to him.
I never felt like he was always fully in. Anyways, after watching them all again, each movie he has his moment where he's like he walks away and then he comes back. You know, like
he
in the first movie
with the enemy.
Yeah. In the first movie, he's being forced to do this, and then the second one, he lets fame go to his head, and he like leaves him behind. And then the third movie, it starts with him being like, "I'm leaving, guys," and they're like, "What are you doing? You're leaving."
Mm-hmm.
All right,
you have a new coach.
I think the fact that we're talking like this, we're all fans of those original films, and I actually liked it a lot more than Luke did. But even though I do agree that I wish they would get it out of the Disney Channel area and make it more what the original Ducks felt like. And I'm hoping
kids need to get into trouble. They need to be rambunctious. They need to not just be, I'm standing in the table in a cafeteria and making a speech, but they need to be people that need direction, and they're a little wild on their own.
It's been very much brought into this modern era of kids don't get in trouble in the modern era, Luke. It's just a nice era.
Well, it's also been a Disney
bring
Channel
back
problem.
the red pen at school.
We need a Ducks Cobra Kai crossover.
It's very on par with Disney Channel.
I know, and I do agree with Katie. Let's get rid of all the bullying, and there was still bullying in this. There's still bullying in this episode, but I wish. I don't know. I just wanted to feel a little bit more visceral, a little bit more of Invincible.
There's not bullying, I think, in the original films.
Yeah, the original films there wasn't, and I like that. I feel like it's a trope that's been happening too often now in TV shows, and I'm like, kids are mean, but I don't know if I'm just old. I don't remember kids being that mean.
Yeah,
maybe I was just so unpopular that no one even knew I existed. That might be what.
Katie, that's terrible. That's not true. Brad says that there's talk about doing a Cobra Kai Ducks crossover. Wow.
They team up.
But I do think there's one thing. Brad said, Megan is closing her eyes. Scream at her.
Stop calling her Megan. That's
Why am I Megan? I don't understand. I just didn't
I'm
get
sorry
to
to
watch
bring
this
that and
episode.
say that on
Brad
the air,
associates
but
everybody here on the View, and
We're all part
now
of the
we're all
View. I'm looking.
somebody.
You're
I'm the
Megan.
Oh, I
couch
thought
on
I
the
was the
View,
table.
probably.
Okay. All right, guys. So that is the Ducks. We are going to finish the show with a couple of collectibles that some of us have brought. Danae, thank you. I just want you to know, if you do get sleepy, you are more than welcome to head on out, because I know you don't have some collectible. But
I know I might actually have to bow out, and I think I am sorry, Jake, because I do love your collectibles. They're amazing. Also, I don't want to miss I don't want to see any King Kong versus Godzilla spoilers. So for that, for the sake of that, I might have to go.
So Danae, as you leave, where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram at DNAYS. Also on Instagram at the Con Girls, because Katie and I are posting on there with not quite as frequently as Jim and Luke do, because they're, the pros and they're the ones who've done this forever. Yeah, the Con Girls on Instagram. You can find us right there.
And we are we're gonna pump that up a lot more, guys. And the Con Girls gonna start having some regular sections here on the show. And fingers crossed, we'd love to see a Con Girls show. We would love to see that. So we'll see.
I would love that.
And I just think
take over 1 week and just talk about, I don't know, something awesome. When The Witcher comes back, that's when we'll take over.
All right. And also, I had one other thing to say, but I'm forgetting what it was. Whatever. It's not that important.
And we'll cut to a message from our sponsor. Just kidding.
Thanks, guys.
Good night, Danae. And one comment did you see this? And Topher says, the problem with bullying is that it is lazy writing. It's easy to bring up an old trope, and it's really easy to establish conflict. I agree. It's lazy. It's laziness.
I'm glad you guys agree, because it's been bothering me for years now. I'm just like, can we stop with this?
Yep.
Can we stop?
Right. I agree. 100%.
Yeah, we saw in 22 Jump Street that 21 Jump Street that they've kind of made fun of, it's like kids want to be more green and environment friendly. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I'm sure it's still exists.
They want to be environmental friendly. They want to be green. They want to be responsible. They want to get good grades in school. And the two lead characters, they were used to bullying and it's like bullying's out. Being a cool kid is in. Being a
now
nerd,
you can leave it to Facebook and Instagram for bullying. It's not in person.
Yeah.
And Katie, I do not think you were so unpopular that kids didn't know you existed. You were just too interested in other things, and you didn't care about what the stupid people were thinking about. That's what we believe.
No, I lived in a small town, so everybody knew each other.
All right. So we have a couple of collectibles as we end the show. And Cheeseman, I think you have these loaded and ready to show. And Jake will talk us through
transition.
That's the original poster for the 1962-63 film. And I know, Jim, you're a big fan.
Hey, if you can, go ahead and fully describe it, because a lot of people are going to be just listening. Yeah.
Sorry. Yep. So Luke just showed a picture of the original poster for King Kong versus Godzilla, which came out in 1963, I think it was. And growing up, there was a couple of VHS tapes that we watched, pretty much ran out. We watched them so many times. And one of them was Three Amigos. One of them was Creature from the Black Lagoon, and the other one was King Kong versus Godzilla. So it's a movie I've
Not
seen.
even your tracking could fix it?
Yeah. I still have it somewhere,
when the tracking
somewhere in the box.
Is no good anymore.
Yeah, Creature. There you go. Oh. So yeah, King Kong versus Godzilla, one of my all-time favorite movies. I've seen it so many times. So now we're seeing the modern remake or reboot style, whatever. And how excited is everyone for this? You guys?
I'm super stoked.
Yeah.
It can't be worse than the last one, right?
Which one? The Godzilla or the
Godzilla movie? The last Godzilla movie.
You didn't like it?
I enjoyed it, but literally there were a lot of problems I had with it still too.
I've felt that way about all the stuff, even the Kong Skull Island, which is a great movie, but I'm really just there for the action scenes. I don't care about any of the human characters. I don't,
What? There were human characters in those movies?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So I think we're all expecting the same thing with this. We just want to see them fight, and
All right, let's see. What did you bring tonight, Jake?
So Luke has some pictures. This is from Mondo. These are some of their new Tiki Mugs. So I think Luke has a couple different ones. There's the King Kong one, obviously. Ceramic, glazed Tiki style mug of King Kong from the movie. And look, you can see he's got the broken chains on his wrist there.
Oh, nice.
Kind of going back to the original 1933. So yeah, these are really cool. I just saw these today. There's a variant, different color of the same mug. So I think some of them are more available than others.
Cool.
I kind of prefer the brown one. Is the other one like full black? It looks like.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like. Yeah.
It needs like some highlights.
Yeah.
So there's Kong, and then there's Godzilla.
Is he on fire?
Yeah, they have a little flame roasting on top of them. There's certain tiki drinks. They have those they like light sugar cubes and stuff. Like,
don't
I
try
feel like
this
it'd be
at home,
cooler if
kids.
it was coming out of his mouth.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
So there's the black. That's the black glaze looking Godzilla, and then
That's
I think
cool.
there you go. There's like a
that one I love.
That's a cooler one.
Yeah, this
That's
one's really cool.
Yeah, you can really see the detail and the scales and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Very cool.
Right,
and
which one of these will you be buying? You think so far? Are you going to get both of them?
Maybe we'll see. I don't know.
Well, he's going to cave. He's going to get the brown King Kong, and he'll probably get this blue Godzilla. At least if I was choosing myself, I'd get those two.
I have a kid now, guys. Come on.
Oh yeah, don't let his stuff behind him fool him.
All right, what's the next
He's
one?
He's only got a $400 budget a week on collectibles.
And then, so this is from Mondo also. This is Godzilla 89 premium scale statue. Really cool. You can see he's got, he's stepping on some kind of tank? Or something like that, yeah. And then there's the mouth from that one, I forget what the name of that creature is, from one of the creatures that he fought in that movie. That was like I'm trying to think which movie that was.
I think this was the 70s.
Well, it says 89, Godzilla 89.
I am completely wrong.
Yeah, because Godzilla 85 was kind of when they redefined that look, and they kind of call that look like the cat eye kind of look. He has more like a feline kind of mouth and stuff, So really cool stuff. That's from Mondo as well. They have this
basically shows the scale of it, right?
Yeah,
18 inches.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's a statue.
Yeah, it's really cool. Really great detail. And Mondo has amazing stuff. And like most collectibles, you really got to get on there and get them at the right time because they sell out fast. Luke knows because he's bought a few Jaws things from there.
It's gone like within the day. Because certain things hold their value really well, and I'm sure Godzilla always seems to.
I just saw they do a lot of Tiki Mugs, things like that. They also do like rare posters, limited runs of really cool movie posters, and there we go. So look how cool that is. That's a movie poster. What did Brad say?
Brad goes, it looks like Kong isn't it?
So this is a really awesome poster from Mondo. It's to describe it, it's like Godzilla's outline, and then you can see Kong's face. So like his.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's like the two of them morphing into one image, and there's the other option they have too. They have a black and white version, and then the other with the color version.
Yeah, so I kind of like the color version better.
Yeah, it's cool. It's one of those images you look at it one way and you see one thing, and then you look and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, oh wow.
That's awesome.
Good stuff. Yeah, but they have a lot of vinyl records. They just released I think a Shazam, like a deluxe, soundtrack when it has like all this really really cool artwork on there. So really cool stuff. Check it out. Mondo.
And Jake,
Mondo Tees.
And Jake, you can help me describe this. I got this week.
Yeah. So that's from NECA Toys. That's their King Kong deluxe figure, and it's based on the original 1933 King Kong.
Yeah, that's so incredible.
Yeah.
Does he have to take out of the box before the show started? But
can you see? I don't know. Does he come with like chains or anything, or is it just the figure?
I think there's two different versions of it, and I don't think that one has the chains.
Yeah, that's just like the basic version. Then there's also a variant that has a different paint style that has like highlights to make it look like the film poster. Yeah, so it has kind of like yellow like highlights and stuff. So really cool stuff. It's
pretty amazing. It's just such an amazing, it's so lifelike. And I remember, and actually Luke picked it up for me and he texted it to me, and I was like, and I didn't know at first, because I'm not as big a fan of the modern King Kong, but then he showed me the face, and it was the face from the 33 film. I was like, yes, grab that.
Yep.
So amazing.
Yep. Really cool.
All right, and I have one more thing. This is, I got Bigfoot this week. A Bigfoot action figure. I'm really excited.
They sold that at that store on
Halloween Town.
What's it called?
Halloween Town in Burbank.
I know it well.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And Luke, did you have anything?
Basically, I rebought a second because Brad's always like, you got to buy one to open and then one to keep in its case. So I was just like, oh, this is a pretty good looking Marty. I already have it. My mom got it for me for Christmas, but I just wanted to have a second version to just keep, because Back to the Future stuff really holds its value really well. Like once things are done, it'll triple or quadruple in price. Yeah. And then I wasn't expecting to see this there, but they had the T1000 there at Target as well. So I really like to start buying some of the Terminator 2 stuff, because they have Sarah Connor, John Connor, and I'd love to get, like the actual Terminator, the Arnold one and stuff, and kind of have those kind of 4 NECA figures would be kind of some top ones. If they did these and I'm sure they will originally with the original Jurassic Park characters with Grant, Ian and all that, like, and Ellie and, some raptors and different things. I'd like to collect those kind of things.
Brad's like, you hear that, Jake? You get 2.
Yep.
I do sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah, Brad's like, you got to get 2. You open, because Jake always opens them. He's like, you got to get 2.
I open most of my stuff too. I open
most. I like playing with the toys. By the way, when did Target become such a store?
When they realized that millennials shop there more than the kids do.
Yeah, they collectibles now.
NECA had a deal with Toys R Us back in the day, so you could find a lot of stuff there. And then Toys R Us, so then Target swooped in and got it.
And Target knows its audiences. I mean, anytime I buy CDs at Target because they have extra tracks on all their CDs.
That's cool.
And I'll see multiple adults with kids kind of creep over to, like, I'll be at Target and then I'll see like a dad, mainly the one like picking up some Predator toy or looking at, like, he's got a little kid with him, but he's like, this is my toy section kind of a thing. Like, kind of in there, like, grabbing stuff.
Yeah.
It's
all about nostalgia. They know their audience, they know where to put it, and they know where to have like the stuff. So people looking, they're not necessarily looking in the toy section where the little kid toys are, and they see this and they're like, whoa.
Yeah. That's true. I remember, by the way, Toys R Us, the name again, the brand has already, Brad says, you've already spent half your anyways, Jake, get 2. And I think Brad's the one who showed it to me. He sent me the link. Toys R Us has been purchased. It's
nice.
Again, so there's somebody else is going to try to put it together. Guys, we have to finish the show. All of us got to go to bed.
NECA probably bought it.
We got lives to lead, but this has been so much fun. I just want to encourage everybody to please follow us at theconguy.com, at theconguy.com on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere we're at, and we will let Katie tell us where to find her and any closing thoughts.
I'm Katie, aka KT_Christine, across all social media, including Twitch. I have a very special Twitch stream tomorrow. It is my monthly themed stream. And I'm doing a Ren Fair theme since the Ren Fair has been canceled. So I'm going to be building some armor, basically, on stream, or at least starting to. So you can tune into that. I don't know the time yet, but if you guys follow me on Instagram, I'll be posting about it. Also writing articles for that hashtag show, currently reviewing Batwoman and Riverdale. So you can catch those there. And just being nerdy and tweeting my thoughts on Twitter all the time with whatever show I'm watching. So that's kind of what's been going on with that.
Fantastic. What about you, Jake?
You can find me on Instagram at the Jacoba System, and just everyone have a great week and continue loving all the stuff you love and be nerdy and geeky and have a good time.
All right. I'll let Luke take us out, but I would like to just tell everybody this is such an honor to be joining you guys every week. I'm so glad you guys are here. Also, Brad said Walgreens has expanded their toy aisle too because the Toys R Us closing, and they have a lot of those NECA items and more now. That's really cool.
If you go to Best Buy, they have a huge toy section now. It's crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Like, yeah, it's
That's
all like collectibles and stuff. Yeah,
Like the NECA and all that?
like NECA, it's, Hasbro, everything. It's nuts.
All right, you can find me here at The Con Guy. Follow us at theconguy.com on Twitter, The Con Guy on Instagram. Follow me at Jim Fry LA. Jim Fry LA is in the city on Twitter, and James D. Fry on Instagram. Thank you, guys. Please leave comments. Like us, follow us. It really helps us out. All right, Cheeseman, take us out.
Yeah, Cheeseman here with theconguy.com as well. You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at CheeseOnCouch. And hope you have a wonderful week. Check out Godzilla vs. King Kong. Support your fandom. Support all the shows we've been talking about. And we do love the Mighty Ducks. We do love Falcon and the Winter Soldier and the Invincible show. So check those out. It has been fun. So support your fandoms, everybody, and have a good week.
Thanks for listening to The Con Guy Show, the official program of theconguy.com. Find us on the Weeby Geeks Collective or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And now on sci-fi.radio, Saturdays at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, both AM and PM. That's 9 o'clock Greenwich. It's sci-fi for your Wi-Fi.